Now, moving on to our next session, we have a fireside chat on the topic Operationalizing your CX, preparing for the unpredictable future in advance. I would like to introduce our moderator, Mr. Fasih Abbas M, Senior Director and Head of Customer Success, Cashfree Payments. Mr. Fasih Abbas M, an accomplished leader with expertise in fintech, is the Senior Director and Head of Customer Success at Cashfree Payments. With an advanced management degree from IIMK, he has pioneered customer support setups for renowned firms. His achievements include notable recognitions, successful team leadership, and driving substantial revenue growth. Now, I would like to take a moment to introduce our members. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Mr. Jayraj Vyas, Tooling Architect, CTO, Ola. Ms. Reena Evans, Senior Director of Operations, Acko. Mr. Rajiv Nagarajan, DGM and Head Social Media, Airtel. And last but definitely not the least, Dr. Karthik Anantharaman, Vice President, International Sales Marketing, Apollo Hospitals. Can we all put our hands together and welcome the folks on the dais for the fireside chat?
Thank you so much for the introduction. Good morning, everybody. It's a very, very bright day today, and very nice sitting here and getting an opportunity to speak about our experiences. The topic that we are going to be discussing today is about how do organizations plan for uncertainties. How do they scale up? How do they create an ecosystem so that they do not actually give up in any kind of an adverse situation? Let me talk about a couple of examples that I have gone through myself. While I was at PhonePe, right, we just started the app in about August, September, and the demon period happened in December, right? With demon, everybody knows that digital payments was the only other alternative that every organization or every company or the consumer market, the consumers, every Indian was thinking about how could I actually make a digital payment instead of actually handling cash. Managing cash was very, very difficult. How could an organization like PhonePe scale up to the expectation? There were organizations in digital payment space which were growing at the speed of about 200%, 300% in that quarter. And it was very, very difficult for the customer services teams to actually match up to the speed, because the more the business, the more queries would flow in to the customer service team. One other example is, talking about how the customer behavior changes over a period of time. And that is also a bit uncertain. And how do organizations actually scale up to match the pace of what the customers really want in the market? This is an important thing. And let me also talk about an example. When I was in Flipkart, more than 40% of the calls that were arriving at that point in time were just about, where is my order? And as an organization, Flipkart thought about how to integrate their entire supply chain into a simple app or onto the website and say, hey, Fasih, you placed this order, your order is now at this stage. It's got confirmed, it's got now packed, it's now got, shipped, it's out for delivery, and all of those stages were just mentioned on a click of a button. And why would the customers want to call Flipkart then? Now, other organizations which did not build this capability had to be really, really speeding up and coming over and coming up to match the customer's expectation, right? There's another certain uncertainty that I was just speaking to Reena about just before coming to the session. It's about the COVID period. Nobody expected that COVID would happen, and how do we prepare for these kind of calamities, right? So I'm going to be coming over to the questions that I have. Before I just roll out the questions, I would like the panel members to come forward and introduce themselves. So I would first request Reena to come forward and introduce.
Hi everyone, good morning. I'm Reena, and I have an experience of about 17 years and precisely 15 years coming from an e-commerce background. I have worked with 0 to 1 startups like Flipkart. I've been a core member in Alibaba's acquisition with Lazada in Singapore. where I was handling the cross-functional operations for the border. And I've been a part of Swiggy in their early stage when it's been 5 years I was there. And now I'm into Acko, handling their operations and customer experience. So it's been a different industries and different experience, and end of the day, it's an experience that I'm trying to solve for the customers. Happy to be here and share my experiences. Thank you.
Thank you, Reena. Mr. Jayraj.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. This is audible. Okay, so
You can change the mic.
hi, good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Jayraj, having 20 years of experience in IT, customer support, and designing the customer experience center. Having said that, work with Coca-Cola for 20 years plus 2 years of CloudTel, which is a onboarding company of Amazon, and last 2 years working as a tooling architect in Ola, delivering customer experience for cabs and scooters. Thanks.
Yeah. Rajiv, if you could introduce yourself.
Hey, hi everyone. Good morning. This is Rajiv Nagarajan. I currently head the social media and online reputation management, branding, and digital customer service for Bharti Airtel Pan India. Prior to this, I was handling the social branding and online reputation management for Swiggy. Coming up with 14 plus years of experience, right from customer support to marketing to content and to now digital CX. Happy to connect with all of you. Looking forward to the other sessions. Thanks. Cheers.
Morning everyone, Karthik Anantharaman here. I am from the healthcare background. So primarily spent about last 2 decades between medical technology, pharmaceuticals, and now in the hospital healthcare service delivery. As you know, healthcare is one where customers do not want to come to a hospital. So they will only come when they have some problem. So therefore, we'll be very much looking forward to connect with all of you to share and also learn from you about what's the difference in the customer expectation and customer experience in a healthcare setting, which has both a B2B and a B2C angle to it. Look forward to connecting.
Thank you for the introduction. Okay, let's move on to the first question. Mr. Jayraj, what strategy should organizations take up in terms of both non-technical and technical to manage any kind of uncertainties?
Okay, so organizations which are customer facing, they have a customer facing team who pick up the call and answer the questions. So first of all, the training is very much required. Second, the customer behavior, every time it's changed based on the age and location, plus the language. So considering the data and technology, they have to train their team members and delivering the customer experience.
Yeah. A little more on the technology side. You've been a technology person for a very long time. How do you build robust systems, or what is on the technology side that you would envision to do, to manage any kind of an adverse situation?
Definitely, the survey platforms through the forms, chat machines, or SMS or tiny URLs will work. Collecting leverage on no doubt on data and technology.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Jayraj. Moving on to Dr. Karthik. Dr. Karthik, you've been with Apollo Hospitals. How do you think technology and data analytics will improve the capability of your organization, to be much stronger and much connected to customers, both in a normal situation and in an advanced situation? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's a very relevant question, and I can maybe answer that from a healthcare perspective. Until not very long ago, I'm sure all of us know, when we had to go consult a doctor or when we had to go to a certain hospital, we would always rely upon what a friend or a relative recommending. Okay, this doctor is good, maybe you can go there. This hospital is good, my experience has been good with the medical and paramedical staff there, you can go there. But I think that trend has gradually and rather in a way, in an accelerated manner, changed post-COVID, because I can tell you that healthcare was in a way a laggard when it comes to adopting technology in the way how we work. And COVID actually changed that whole scenario, where it led to a very accelerated digital transformation across all aspects of healthcare, not just hospitals, but pharmacy, the way how a laboratory functions, as well as the way how patients want to consume healthcare. So now I'll come to what is the leverage of technology that we have seen, which is a significant sea change from where we were in 2019 to where we are in, say, 2023. And everything has to go with data, by the way. So I'll explain this from what changes at a patient level and what changes at a doctor level, what changes at a hospital level. Now, for a patient, now the expectation is that they wish to first look at the Google reviews of a doctor. So therefore, now you see a lot of doctors and hospitals having their Google accounts, and there's a very clear 5-star rating of the quality of service a doctor delivers and the quality of service a hospital delivers. And people are extremely serious about how their profile is seen online. So quality of services in healthcare is now significantly redefined in the last 3-4 years. Second, coming to the patient is now clearly expecting that the patient is looking at healthcare as a consumer now. So therefore, first they wish to look at the profile of the doctor. They go look up the doctor's profile, credentials. Many a times they first ask for a video consultation. Most of the first screening consultation happens online these days through a teleconsult or a video consult. Gone are the days when patients are required to carry printouts of their medical reports, x-rays, CT scans. Now everything is up on a cloud, which is very helpful to have a personalized health record available. And then patients expect that the doctor spends enough time for the money that they pay with the doctor. And then comes the access to availing services beyond consultation. Actually, when you consult a doctor, on the prescription there is the medicines are written and a few lab investigations are written. Now, like how they just mentioned about the Swiggy app or the Zomato app, you can now order your medicines online through an app and lab investigations where the technologist comes home and collects your blood sample. There again, the consumer expectation has gone to one next step, that once you've booked your medicine or your lab test online, on the app it shows your order is taken, your runner is on the way, this is the time he will reach your home, this is when your medicine will get delivered. So that's the bare minimum expectation from a patient side that has already happened within healthcare when it comes to medicine delivery or lab investigations being where a blood sample or a sample is collected at home. Now, what does it mean to the doctor? Now, to the doctor, now they have access to medical records online, and doctor is now able to make an informed decision by looking at sequential medical records. What was missing in the past and what is new for him now? If the patient had missed a record, it becomes difficult for the doctor whether I have to increase the dose of the medicine or give him a new additional medicine or change the medicine. Now he can see a trend line which shows him the last 3, 4 or 5 years of recording. And now using this data analytic, doctor can clearly now show, and there is AI available to say which patient responds better to a certain medicine and which patient may not respond. And that is of a significant help to the doctor to make an informed decision. And last but not the least, sorry to take additional time, the rating of the hospital services is also now digital. So if this is done right at the doctor level and the patient gives the right rating, actually the hospital's rating is also that much better. So that way, data has a role to play in all of these touch points.
Very nicely summarized. I think you brought up these two elements, how data is benefiting the customers in making the right choice, going to the right hospital, going to the right doctors, right? And on the other side, you spoke about doctors, which I had not heard of, the doctors using data and information, which is really nice. Thank you, Dr. Karthik. Reena, you've been with startups for a very long time. You've been with startups for about 15 years now. Can you talk about some real-time examples of how organizations have managed uncertainties? And could you quote those examples in real, how you were part of it and how did you overcome?
Sure. So I think in startups, two things happen. Either uncertainty happens or we create an uncertainty by looking at it from a very different lens and try to elaborate the problem and stuff. But yes, I've been a part of COVID where, everyone has gone through that phase where both the business and the customers, highly got impacted. So during this period, I was with Swiggy. And at Swiggy, I was handling the marketplace for food, which is the restaurant side of it. And I think the need of the hour was groceries, where from the customer side, they weren't getting the food or the raw materials on time. So while there was an opportunity as a business, we see, are we having the technology enough to scale it up to get groceries and move at a pace, because we are already a digital first in the food platform and we have the customers base already. So getting to a state of 0 to 1 scale up. So Instamart was nothing during the COVID. We were just in 1 or 2 pin codes in Delhi, scaling up to 25,000 stores. And what helped us was the data, which pin codes, which stores are available to come on marketplace, how we can build the carts, like a biryani bag can hold up a 5 kilo rice or a 2 kilo potatoes. So that's one of the uncertainty in terms of times. But I think I would like to talk another minute about uncertain situations. So situations in the organizations that I have worked where consumers' voice, which is the voice of customers, becomes a very uncertain situation. We see certain customers coming and complaining on the pricing. Usually that's one of the biggest thing that we have come across as a very uncertain situation in Swiggy. We are still trying to solve. I'm not a part of it, but I still see that getting solved is how do we educate the consumer that offline to online, there is a certain user flexibilities there. I'm sure the prices can't be same, at least in a food marketplace. But when this kind of a noise comes out in terms of the prices on a restaurant is much lower than what you sell online, it is very important for the consumer, one, to be educated as what the difference is all about. Is it about the commission the company is charging? Is that the only reason the restaurants are jacking up the prices? Or is it the other packaging related issues, like you want the food without spillage, and you want the delivery even though if it is farther, like you want an extra mile to be delivered. So if you go back to where the Swiggy's user experience started in terms of app, to today when you go to the billing page, it is self-explanatory in terms of giving you a breakup. Why the package and how much the package is, if the delivery fee for a nominal fee to an extra mile delivery. And there are certain cities which started eco packaging as well, right? So if that has been added to it. So I think that's what the user experience is. Without you talking, by lifting up a phone, how are we kind of communicating any changes that we are bringing on the table to the consumer is one of the biggest journey that I've been a part in the ecosystem.
Very interesting. Reena, so there's these two interesting points that I would like to highlight, which you brought up, is the organizations have a responsibility of making it really easy for the customers to get information. And that's what we spoke about by the start of the discussion. And the second thing that you spoke about is how do we educate our customers? How do we bring about a change? That's very important. So nice, and thank you for that. Moving on to Rajiv. Rajiv, building a customer-centric culture in the organization is important. Do you think so, or do you think it's not so important?
Thanks. Absolutely. The AI and the emerging customer needs are always, it is always reshaping the very fabric of how we think that we cater to our customers. When we say customers, we always think this set of group outside. So we are all customers of any of the brand that we use today. So a customer-centric culture starts with any team that is not just focused on what they're doing or any task that they're doing or any metric that they have in their goals, should have an endpoint that will benefit customers end of the day. Right? So gone are those days where it is just the customer support team or the customer experience team who's catering to the needs and understanding what are their needs and kind of tailor making their approach. But brands are now evolving where right from any support team, right from the HR to your facilities team to your supply chain and to your other cross functions team, always, collectively take decisions and also collaboratively involve in strategies where it benefits the end user or the customer, right? Handling a team of social marketing and also the reputation part, I'm at a position where I see the blend of what the organization needs in terms of driving sales on social media and what is my customers talking on my social channels, especially the new age audience, right? The Gen Z audience. What are they actually looking out for from a brand online, right? So I keep telling my team, if it is something that it is not going to help customers or kind of eat their time or not valuing their time, I think we should rethink of doing that. It's not just mere sake of adding sales pipeline or generating a lead, but it should make some impact to customers, right? Even if you're posting an ad, or they should kind of relate to what is happening with the brand, and that there should be a relationship and there should be an impact that the brand creates. So it is very much needed now. I mean, I'll just quickly give an example how a customer-centric culture is actually helping. So we had this eSIM process, right? I mean, transferring your physical SIM card to an electronic SIM card. Back in like one and a half years back, it was a very tedious process where we ask customers to go to a store, fill up some serious forms and laundry list of items, and then you have to surrender your SIM, give your ID proof and photograph and all that. Now, I mean, looking at 2023, the process of eSIM transformation is just scanning a QR code and receiving an OTP. And within blink of an eye, you have already moved to a digital SIM card on your phone. So this implementation, it was a collaborative effect, because it was we felt that customers are not so happy, and through social listening, we felt a lot of customers, especially the Gen Z new age customers, who do not want to just get out and walk to a store to do this process. They wanted the process to be online, and they wanted the process to be there on the platform that they are, be it on the app or on social channel or on the website. So that's where the omni-channel comes in, and also they don't even want to click a link and just go to a redirection. They said, like, can you just give me the QR code and I will scan it. So when this understanding and when this insight coming from a team or from the customer experience team going to the product team or the development team or to any of the other cross-function team in an organization, and they put a hat of saying that, okay, there is a problem to solve, and now and these are the insights that I get, and these are the voice of customers on social, and we sit on a calibration and we put them saying that now could you just try out eSIM, and if you're not happy, so will be the customers. So it is definitely reshaping the impact that we make. I always tell my team that it is not B2B or B2C that we cater. It is always B2H, business to humans. And when you understand that, and when you, kind of reflect that in your organization to any team that you interact and meet with, I think that will definitely make a greater impact. It is not just mere implementing fancy terms of technology like AI and ML, but it is just ensuring that whatever small thing that we do, it adds value to their customer's life, and also it impacts something or the other way. So that's the mantra, and I think that culture or throughout the brand will definitely help.
Yeah, one nice point that you brought up, Rajiv, is it's not about just releasing an ad, but also thinking about the customer's time, the time that the customer spends. How is he going to take this ad? It's not about just pushing your product or your services. It's also about the time that he spends. You're valuing it. So that's a very nice thing. Just taking a minute on this additionally, we used to call this as test your product in one of the companies that I was working. So we used to get stakeholders from all the different teams in the organizations, make them sit, listen to calls, make them read some emails from customers, and make them feel what exactly the customer is talking about the product, right? And some companies call it, give it a fancy term. They say, taste your tea, right? So if you made the tea, taste it yourself and see, if it is really good. Could you raise your hand and talk about one such example that, or what do you call it in your organization if you're doing something like this? Anybody? Anybody who, takes this initiative of calling all the various teams and saying, hey, this is what the customer is talking about. So there are two interesting things, most organizations have started seriously talking about is first is, how do you actually get the customers, experience team to influence the product? It's very important. I do that in my organization. We continuously keep giving feedbacks in terms of what are the top issue types or top, customer queries that are coming in. On the other side, we try to get the, product team to engage with us, understand what kind of, issues the merchants and the customers are talking about the product. So this is an interesting thing that you should try in your organization if you're not actually doing it. Moving on, Mr. Jayraj, do you think training the employees and empowering the employees will really help them, during very difficult times?
Sure. Like in army said that more you sweat, less you bleed. If the person train and face the customer, you can definitely sell one more product or one service, additional service. Example, if you get order through the online food and you offer a cutlery, no doubt customer has a different experience. The same way he perform well, and definitely you can reduce the one line of reporting structure in the organization. He or she may be responsible, the trained employee. It's a one type of growth machine or a data point for the company. So I believe a lot of organizations start L&D, learning and development culture in their environment through the app, through some websites, and there are some mandatories in your KRAs as well.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jayraj. Dr. Karthik, would you like to add on to this question? Do you think empowering, the staff, training them on how to manage adverse situations is going to be of help?
No, absolutely. I think learning is a continuous process. All of us learn every day, I think every instance. The way how we look at it is, to the extent possible in healthcare, we try to customize. Training can only be as effective as much as we know the customer. So I think if our KYC is strong, our training will be that much more sharp and that much more relevant. I can just share a simple example. Since my responsibility is to handle the international business also, as you know, in India itself, we are a very diverse country. I think we have about 26, 28 major languages. Now, in our hospitals, we receive a lot of patients who come from the East who speak Bengali and Assamese. So what we have done, we have actually hired people who speak those languages, and the reception desk has boards in Bengali. So the moment you come, you are welcomed in a language that you understand. So when they actually call our toll-free number, we first ask what is the language that you're comfortable speaking with, so that we can give you the right information in the language that you understand the best. And hence we have identified the top languages that people wished, who are comfortable for the people that keep calling in, and we have people that speak those languages. Similarly, we have done it in international. So we run digital campaigns, and we run digital campaigns in about 20 different foreign languages. So people understand what we do in the language that they understand the best. And we have outsourced it to one of the organizations who can speak some of these 20 foreign languages, so that when there is a call or when there is a patient who comes from those countries to our hospital, there is someone who can speak to them and make them understand. I think it starts from there. The next important thing is to earn the trust of the customer early on, where right from the reception desk to the nurse to the doctor, we are continuously making them to say that give the treatment that is only absolutely necessary. One of the key things was, people generally used to think, the first question being asked is, do you have insurance? The moment someone says, yes, I have insurance, the misperception used to be that hospitals would do tests that are even unnecessary because insurance used to cover it. So we want to clear that myth that says that, okay, for these reports, this is the only investigations you need, this is the only treatment that you need. So once that is told upfront, even before the patient comes to the hospital, it actually builds that trust. Now that training is also given or imparted upfront, right from the receptionist to the person who books the appointment to the doctor. I think these are some of the nuances. The better we know the customer, I think the training will be that much more appropriate.
Okay. So what you actually telling is also about, preparing the staff to be able to actually not just speak one language, but speak different languages, because the patients walking in can be speaking any language, right? So preparing more and more people to be able to handle patients and also adverse situations. I think we can talk about it a little more offline. And Reena, moving on to you. Do you think customers' experience or driving customer experience should be only reactive, or it should be proactive? What's your take on this?
So I'll just extend what Dr. Karthik was talking about. When you get a call, there was this point that he raised saying he will ask which language are you comfortable, to today reactive to proactive. We are working towards building a system where once you spoke in Bengali, it means you don't have to explain yourself that you are comfortable in Bengali as a language. So that's where the experience is traveling proactively. So once a customer gives you an information, anything which can make his journey easy, how are you storing, how are you enhancing it, and how are you giving it back to the customer as a visibility, are few of the things. And just connecting back to Acko, it's an insurance industry, and today it's still our very first product in India, looking at where we are in buying an insurance product, even being it comparing the prices or claiming. So today where we are at being a D2C, and one of the D2C in the market, we want to really be very transparent in from the journey, buy journey to the post-buy journey, which is what are the prices, how are the prices different from the market, to how do you claim. So when I talk about reactive, here people react when the 20% of the people who react are when the claim settlements are not in their favor, right? So that gives us a proactive way of taking certain steps to ensure the communications that we are building to the consumer are more focused. Like say, for example, if you have purchased a car policy, and if that car policy has certain deductibles during the claim, we want to emphasize that very clearly post your buy journey till the time that you claim that, okay, this policy is all about deductibles and this is what you can come. So there are yet times we have seen consumers coming and, in the end moment, oh, I am not aware of this. So how are we reacting to this and building more data-driven approach to solve this? I think it's a balance act between reaction and, proactive. So whatever we are reacting for today are very hypothetical things that we are bringing up to look at from a very different consumer lens, what could probably escalate, what could probably damage the brands or the products that we are building or the experience we want to give. And just trying to enhance it more and more deeper is, I would say it's a mix of act between reaction and proactiveness.
Okay, fantastic, Reena. Just, I think the time is up. Sorry, Rajiv, I had one quick question to you. The emerging trends in technologies, how are they influencing the organization's readiness, to prepare or readiness to come up with something for the uncertain times, or, to talk about something which is very adverse?
I mean, the future lies in terms of personalization and personalization, hyper-personalization, where you cater to customer needs in a way that to the right customer, the right product, but just not that, and also at the right time. So I think that will be one of the key trends or the future where we are heading towards. And also with respect to social, I would say there will be a time where it's already there. I mean, they will slowly move from social scrolling to social shopping, right? They wanted to make the purchase decisions right there by reading reviews or checking out a positive comment and just clicking in the link and, purchase there. I mean, be it booking your travels or be it to booking a movie. I think that's where the trend lies for the future.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thanks so much. Just 2 minutes from my side, and then we'll open it up for questions. I think just adding on to what Reena and also Karthik said, right? It's important for organizations to be more proactive in giving that support, driving the experience. And what we've been doing in our own organization is continuously checking, on our systems. For example, let us say that there are about 10,000 transactions happening by a particular merchant on our systems. We got to be checking, what is the success rate of these 10,000 transactions. If the transactions, the failure rate is actually increasing, there are two things that we want to do proactively. One, communicate to the merchant first of all and say, do not panic. We are already on top of things. We are trying to fix this. Two, go back to the backend teams, fix that particular problem, proactively. So that way you are actually assuring your merchants, assuring your customers that, hey, you know what, we are mindful of what is happening and we are already doing things for you. You don't need to panic. You don't need to be worried about. I think that's very, very important. As a crux of this entire discussion, it's very important for organizations to think about, adverse situations, uncertainties, while it is all BAU, and start planning, keeping the organization, keeping the staff ready, keeping the processes ready for anything which is just going to go out of control, right? And as much as you're prepared, you'll be able to kind of flex your muscles so much. Right. Over to the audience. Any questions from anybody? Yes. Mic over to her, please. Okay. Sure. We'll just take this last, question and yeah, please.
Yeah, myself, Sridevi. The question is to Dr. Karthik. We know that every industry requires training programs, and we know there is a unique training program as well. How is it differently for healthcare? Because today any training that we do is precisely for front lines, right, who interact with the clients and with the patient. What exactly happens to the doctors or the nursing staffs? Because there also they need adequate amount of training, right? You lose out on the patients and you end up doing multiple. See, we know on day to day that, what is the kind of expectation comes from the client. And the demands are very high in healthcare. How is that we are envisaging and doing differently from a doctor or a nursing? From a clinical perspective is what I wanted to know.
No, thanks. That's a very relevant question. So what we do, and I know we have very little time, so I'll keep it concise. What we do is, whether it's a doctor or a nurse, I think they come with the basic training on compassion and empathy. That's what we assume. But what we do is, as a part of our evaluation process, naturally there is a psychometric analysis that we do to ensure that that ground rule is set. While that is true, what we do next is, there is a pre-workup of the patient that's provided before the doctor sees the patient. So therefore the doctor has information about the nationality, the language, and the previous investigation test or diagnosis that's already been done for that patient. And what is it that the patient is expecting from the doctor is told to the doctor upfront. So the doctor goes mentally prepared to either consulting with the patient on a video call or a telephonic call, and then a face-to-face. The second thing is, a patient is always seen by a front desk person. Like most of the senior consultants, we've actually prepared what is called as a patient assistance manager group, who would first see the patient. They will assign a translator if a translator is required, and then the translator would first meet with the doctor before the patient comes into the chamber, so that the doctor is prepared to give the personalized consultation service to the patient. This is what we do, and we are able to do this only by making sure that we take only limited number of patients in a day, because this can't be done if the number of patients is huge. So therefore, by doing this, we are trying to bring in this. Of course, this can't be done in one training. Right. There is a consistent quarterly program that we have to ensure that this is inculcated more as a culture.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Karthik. And if there are more questions, the speakers are there for some more time. You guys can catch them offline. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my dear friends, for joining. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Mr. Moderator and all the other members in the Fireside Chat. So in case anyone has any other questions, I request you all to connect in the lunch break for some networking. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Monica Kapoor, Director, Enterprise Technologies, ITCOE, Thermo Fisher Scientific, to do the honors. I would like Ms. Monica to honor our moderator, Mr. Fasih Abbas, M. Senior Director and Head of Customer Success, Cashfree Payments. Can we all please put our hands together for Mr. Fasih Abbas? I request Ms. Monica to felicitate Mr. Jayraj Vyas, Tooling Architect, CTO, Ola. Next is Ms. Reena Evans, Senior Director of Operations, Acko. Mr. Rajiv Nagarajan, DGM and Head Social Media, Airtel. And last but not the least, Dr. Karthik Anantharaman, Vice President International Sales Marketing, Apollo Hospitals.